This was caught on camera, and no one can believe it. Today you'll discover several cases of plane crashes that will leave you extremely shocked. From mysterious figures hovering outside aircraft windows to heart-stopping emergency landings, you won't believe what you see in this video. Curious? Join us and let's go. 17. The bat who flew business class. Just when you think you've heard it all, an Air India flight from Delhi to Newark got an unexpected passenger in May 2021. About half an hour into the flight, a bat decided to join the party. Can you imagine sitting there, watching your in-flight movie, and suddenly seeing a bat zooming through the cabin? The pilots didn't mess around. They turned that plane right back to Delhi. Everyone had to switch planes while they gave the first one a deep clean. The best part? The airline thinks the little guy snuck in while they were loading the food. Talk about taking bat cuisine too literally. 16. The explosive truth of Air India. Here's a story that changed aviation forever. June 23, 1985. Air India Flight 182 took off like any other flight. Nobody knew they were about to witness one of the darkest moments in aviation history. The Boeing 747, carrying 329 people, was cruising peacefully over the Atlantic Ocean near Ireland when suddenly, boom, the plane literally broke apart in midair. A bomb, hidden in an innocent-looking suitcase, had torn through the aircraft. The mastermind? A group of extremists from Canada, seeking revenge against the Indian government. The crazy part? Officials actually knew something might happen. India's intelligence agency had sent warnings, but somehow these red flags got lost in the shuffle. Only one person ever went to jail, a guy named Inderjit Singh Rayat, who admitted to building the bombs. He got 15 years for manslaughter. Everyone else? They walked free. Not enough evidence, they said. Talk about a wake-up call for airport security. 15. The plane that vanished into thin air. If you think losing your keys is frustrating, try losing an entire airplane. That's exactly what happened with Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 on March 8, 2014. This massive Boeing 777 just disappeared. Poof. Gone. 1 minute it's chatting with air traffic control, 40 minutes after takeoff from Kuala Lumpur. The next? Radio silence. But here's the really wild part. The plane didn't just vanish. It took a bizarre detour, completely off course, before dropping off the radar entirely. Despite spending millions on the biggest search party in aviation history, they've only found a few pieces of the plane scattered across African beaches. Some smart folks with satellite data think it ended up somewhere in the southern Indian Ocean. But that's like saying your lost phone is somewhere in the city. There's hope though. A new search mission is brewing, led by some high-tech ocean explorers. They're betting they can find it in 18 months, or they don't get paid. Talk about confidence. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up with the biggest curiosities of our world every day. But for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. 14. The miracle on the Hudson. The morning of January 15, 2009 started like any other day at LaGuardia Airport. U.S. Airways Flight 1549 lifted off the runway, carrying 155 souls toward Charlotte. Within minutes, the routine flight transformed into an extraordinary testament to human skill and composure. The jarring impact of a flock of Canada geese knocked out both engines, leaving the massive Airbus A320 powerless at 3,000 feet. Captain Chesley Sullenberger's swift decision-making turned potential tragedy into triumph. The Hudson River became an impromptu runway as the aircraft glided to a landing that would rewrite aviation history. Rescue boats swarmed the partially submerged plane, evacuating passengers from the freezing waters. The aircraft, tail number N106US, stands today in Charlotte's Sullenberger Aviation Museum, a testament to the day when skill and circumstance merged to save 155 lives. The event captivated Hollywood, with Tom Hanks bringing Sully's story to life under Clint Eastwood's direction. 13. The Mid-Air Door Incident. May 2023 brought an unprecedented event aboard an Asiana Airlines A321. During the final approach to Daegu, South Korea, passengers witnessed something previously confined to aviation nightmares. A 33-year-old passenger, overwhelmed by what he described as suffocation anxiety, manually opened an emergency exit door. The aircraft, maintaining 250 meters altitude, experienced an immediate cabin pressure drop. Passengers' personal items went flying through the cabin as hurricane-force winds tore through the aircraft. The flight crew managed to land safely despite the chaos, with ground medical teams rushing to treat passengers for anxiety and minor injuries. The incident led Asiana Airlines to implement new seating policies, restricting access to emergency exit rows. Security footage later showed the passenger admitting to feeling trapped and desperate for air, leading to his impulsive action. 12. AirAsia X flight shaking incident. Here's something wild. An AirAsia X flight that turned into a real-life horror movie. Back in June 2017, an Airbus A330 took off from Perth, Australia, headed for Kuala Lumpur. For more than an hour, everything was totally normal. People napping, watching movies, doing their usual flight stuff. Then bam! The whole plane started shaking like crazy. We're not talking about your regular turbulence here. This was next-level stuff that had everyone wide awake in seconds. The really crazy part? The pilot actually got on the intercom and asked everyone to pray. Talk about not what you want to hear at 30,000 feet. The plane kept rattling and banging for over an hour while they turned around and headed back to Perth. Turns out one of the engine parts went haywire, kind of like having a loose wheel on your car, except you're 7 miles up in the sky. The pilots pulled off an amazing landing, and everyone walked away with a story they'll never forget. 11. The snake in the spotlight. February 2022 brought us something that sounds like it crawled straight out of a Samuel L. Jackson movie. On AirAsia flight AK-5748, someone spotted a snake. Yes, a real snake, slithering around inside the overhead light panel. Just picture it. You're looking up at the reading light, and there's a snake doing its best impression of a lighting technician. The crew didn't waste any time hitting the nope button on this flight. They diverted to Kuching Airport faster than you can say snakes on a plane. The airline later tried to calm everyone down by saying nobody was in real danger. But let's be real. Try telling that to someone who's scared of snakes. The whole thing ended safely, but you can bet those passengers had a story to tell at their next dinner party. 10. The Houston Fireball. Southwest Airlines engine fire. Southwest Airlines passengers bound for Cancun in August 2023 faced their worst fears when flames erupted from their Boeing 747's right engine. The aircraft, barely minutes into its climb from Houston, displayed a terrifying spectacle. Bright orange flames trailing behind the wing. Passenger videos showed the fire flickering against the dark sky, creating an eerie light show nobody had paid to see. The flight crew executed an immediate return to Houston, maintaining remarkable composure while dealing with the emergency. Ground crews waited with fire equipment as the aircraft touched down, ready for any scenario. The incident highlighted modern aircraft's ability to fly safely, even with a compromised engine, though passengers probably weren't thinking about that engineering triumph during their unplanned return to Texas. 9. United Airlines Flight 328. United Airlines Flight 328's February 2021 departure from Denver turned dramatic when the right engine erupted in flames. The Boeing 777, carrying 229 passengers toward Hawaii, suddenly faced a critical emergency at cruising altitude. Passengers watched in horror as pieces of the engine casing broke away, revealing the inferno within. The captain's steady voice carried through the cabin, announcing an emergency landing in Broomfield. Ground observers captured shocking footage of burning debris falling from the sky. The investigation revealed 2 fractured fan blades. One snapped at its base, the other midway through. The incident triggered a worldwide grounding of similar aircraft, highlighting aviation's uncompromising approach to safety. Ground crews later discovered engine parts scattered across suburban Denver, a stark reminder of the close call that could have ended differently without the crew's expert handling. 8. The Guardian in the Sky. Alien photo captured by passenger. Documentaries. Hold on to your seats because this story is absolutely mind-blowing. During a flight to Australia, a passenger snapped a photo that sent the internet into a total frenzy. There, floating outside the aircraft window, was what looked like a massive human figure, just cruising along at 30,000 feet. The wildest part? The plane had been shaking like crazy, just moments before this otherworldly photo op. According to the passenger who caught this on camera, the moment they locked eyes with whatever was out there, the turbulence completely stopped. Dead calm, just like that. Some people jumped straight to the alien explanation, while others called it their guardian angel. The photo spread across social media like wildfire, with everyone from scientists to supernatural experts weighing in. Was it just clouds playing tricks? A reflection in the window? Or something we just can't explain? 7. The Vulture versus the Cessna. Now here's a mid-air clash that nobody saw coming. Picture this. 2019, flying over Tanzania's Serengeti National Park. A Cessna pilot decides to give the passengers a treat, a bird's-eye view of the famous wildebeest migration. But they weren't the only ones watching the wildebeest. A massive vulture, probably thinking about its next meal, didn't get the memo about sharing airspace. Wham! The collision hit so hard it damaged the left wing, sending the plane into a scary left roll. We're talking dropping 300 feet per minute. That's like riding a really fast elevator, except way more terrifying. The pilot, somehow keeping their cool, cranked up the engine power and worked those flaps like a pro. They managed to land at a nearby airstrip, and incredibly, everyone walked away without a scratch. Talk about turning a scenic flight into an extreme sport. 6. The hair-raising screen battle. Gum and hair incident. Travel documentary. You won't believe what went down on this flight. Picture this. A passenger trying to watch their in-flight movie, but the person in front keeps flipping their long hair over the seat, totally blocking the screen. Not just once or twice. We're talking repeatedly, like they owned the airspace behind them. When asked to stop, complete radio silence. That's when things got sticky. Literally, the frustrated passenger grabbed their chewing gum and stuck it right in that cascade of inconsiderate hair. The video blew up online faster than a jet, breaking the sound barrier. Everyone started taking sides. Team, that's going too far, versus team, well, they asked for it. The airlines had to deal with a social media storm bigger than any turbulence they'd faced before. 5. The ghost of Gate B7. Ghosts disembarking from an invisible airplane in Phuket. Check this out. At Phuket International Airport, something super strange started happening at Gate B7. Airport workers began noticing weird stuff during their night shifts. Security cameras would catch seats moving on their own, and lights flickering without any electrical issues. The really freaky part? The gate had been part of a terminal expansion built on an old local shrine site. One night, a cleaner caught something on their phone that gave everyone goosebumps. A misty figure in an airline uniform that wasn't quite solid, walking through a closed door. The video quality wasn't great. When is it ever with ghost footage? But it was clear enough to make even the most skeptical airport staff think twice about working late shifts at that gate. 4. The underwear bomber incident. Now for something seriously scary. Christmas Day 2009, Northwest Airlines Flight 253 had 290 people on board when things got way too real. A guy named Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab tried something absolutely terrifying. He had hidden explosives in his underwear. After spending 20 minutes in the bathroom, he went back to his seat and covered himself with a blanket. Then people started hearing weird popping sounds and smelling something nasty. Flames actually started coming from his seat. Thank goodness for quick-thinking passengers and crew who jumped into action. They managed to stop him and put out the fire before anything worse could happen. The plane landed safely in Detroit, where authorities were waiting to grab this guy. Turns out he was working with Al-Qaeda and had trained in Yemen. He got life in prison without parole, and the whole thing led to major changes in how we do airport security. Who knew underwear could become such a serious security concern? 3. The feathered first-class passenger. Here's a story that'll make you smile. A brave little pigeon decided it wanted the VIP treatment. Someone caught amazing footage of this bird just chilling on the wing of a plane, looking like it was ready for takeoff. The internet had a field day with this one. People were joking about the pigeon trying to score a free vacation to the Maldives. But our feathered friend's dreams of jet setting came to a quick end when the plane started speeding up for takeoff. That powerful rush of wind was too much even for a bird. Talk about ironic. Off it went, probably thinking twice about its choice of perch. The video went super viral, with everyone cracking jokes about the world's first attempt at pigeon air travel. 2. The case of the runaway cat. Flying with pets can be tricky, but this story takes it to a whole new level. Picture this. A passenger falls asleep on a flight, thinking their cat is safely tucked away in its carrier. Plot twist. The cat had other plans. While its owner was catching some Z's, this sneaky feline pulled a great escape and decided to give everyone on board an impromptu meet and greet. The cat was living its best life, strolling down the aisle like it owned the place, probably reviewing the service and giving everyone heart attacks. The owner? They were definitely not getting any Pet Owner of the Year awards after this little adventure. It's like the cat was thinking, first class? Economy? Nah, I'll try them all. 1. The flight that couldn't reach Australia. Get ready for a story that'll make your heart skip a beat. Back in November 1996, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 961 turned into something straight out of an action movie. but this was terrifyingly real. 3 guys with a crazy plan hijacked the plane, demanding to go to Australia. Here's where it gets wild. The plane didn't have nearly enough fuel to make it that far. Captain Lula Bate, cool as ice under pressure, tried explaining this tiny detail to the hijackers. But these guys wouldn't listen. They were dead set on Australia or bust. Spoiler alert, it was definitely going to be bust. When both engines gave out over the Indian Ocean, Captain Abate had to pull off the impossible, landing a massive Boeing 767 on water near a beach resort at Grande Comore. The rough seas turned the landing into a nightmare, with the plane breaking apart on impact. The worst part? Out of 175 people aboard, 125 didn't make it. It's one of those stories that shows how stubbornness and desperation can turn deadly in the skies. Now I want to know from you, which of these cases shocked you the most? Tell me in the comments below. Also, click on this video to watch, because I have selected it especially for you. Well, that's it, and until next time, Curious One.